Payback. The streetlights of Dallas, Texas, bathed the city in a harsh, white glow, cutting sharp shadows across the pavement as Ethan Valmont stepped out into the cool night air. The city, with its towering skyscrapers and endless stream of cars, felt both foreign and familiar. Once, he had been a part of this relentless machine, a cog in the vast oil industry that fueled the city's heart. But that was before betrayal had ripped everything away, leaving him with nothing but a burning desire for retribution. Ethan had been a rising star at Valk Corp, the family's business that had become one of the leading oil companies in Texas. He was young, ambitious, and deeply in love with Claire Boylston, the daughter of the company's CFO. Life seemed perfect, a dream unfolding in real time, until it all came crashing down. It started with an encrypted email sent from his account, a detailed plan for a massive oil spill that would not only devastate the environment, but also manipulate stock prices for personal gain. Ethan was framed, and the evidence was irrefutable. Despite his protests of innocence, he was quickly shunned by everyone, including Claire, who believed the lies spun by Ethan's once trusted friend, Tom Gerard, and his own uncle, Leo Valmont. Convicted on false charges, Ethan was sent to federal prison. There, amidst despair, he met Luis Moreno, an older inmate who had once been a hacker of considerable renown before his own fall from grace. Luis saw the injustice that had been done to Ethan, and in the several years they shared a cell together, Luis also shared with Ethan his vast knowledge of technology, finance, and the darker corners of the internet. After years behind bars, Ethan was released, his conviction overturned thanks to a piece of evidence Luis had managed to unearth. But the world he returned to was vastly different. He was legally free, but socially imprisoned. His name tarnished, his future destroyed. Yet, Ethan was not the same man who had entered prison. He was sharper, harder, and fueled by a singular purpose: to reclaim his life and take revenge on those who had wronged him. Through a series of sophisticated cyber attacks, Ethan began to dismantle the lives of those who had betrayed him. He started with Tom Gerard, now a rising politician who had climbed the political ladder with the charm and ruthlessness that once impressed Ethan. Now, Tom was running for mayor, with ambitions that stretched even further. Ethan, using skills honed under Luis's tutelage, infiltrated Tom's campaign servers. He unearthed a treasure trove of corruption, bribes, illicit campaign funding, and damning communications with shadowy figures. Ethan didn't leak everything at once. He started with anonymous tips to local journalists, watching Tom's campaign stumble under the weight of accusations. When Tom publicly denounced the claims as baseless attacks by his political enemies, Ethan released a second wave of evidence directly to the media. This time, the proof was irrefutable, including videos and financial records. Tom's political career ended in disgrace, but for Ethan, this was just the first step. Leo Valmont, Ethan's uncle, had always been more interested in Valk Corp's empire's wealth than its operation. Ethan viewed him not just as a betrayer, but as a symbol of the unchecked greed that had led to his downfall. Using a series of sophisticated cyber attacks and stock manipulation strategies, Ethan targeted Valk Corp's financial infrastructure. He started by infiltrating the trading algorithms that Leo had heavily invested in, causing erratic trading patterns that spooked other investors. As the company's stock began to tumble, Ethan used anonymous accounts to spread rumors about impending legal investigations into Valk Corp's environmental practices and Leo's insider trading. These rumors, coupled with the manipulated stock prices, triggered a massive sell-off. By the time the dust settled, Leo was not only financially ruined, but also under investigation for multiple financial crimes. Ethan watched from the shadows, feeling a cold satisfaction at his uncle's downfall. But Ethan's ultimate target was the hardest to reach. The Valk Corp empire was vast, and Claire Boylston, who had unwittingly played a part in his downfall, was now its CEO. Claire's betrayal had cut the deepest, not just because of their past love, but because she had chosen to believe the lies spun by Tom and Leo. Ethan's plan for Claire was the most complex, involving not just her professional destruction, but also a blow to the very foundation of Valk Corp. Ethan began by secretly acquiring a significant amount of Valk Corp's debt through various shell companies. He then launched a series of cyber attacks that exposed Valk Corp's most guarded secrets. Years of environmental violations, unethical business practices, and the manipulation of oil prices. As these revelations became public, Ethan called in the debt, knowing full well that Valk Corp could not repay it under the current circumstances. The company's rapid descent into bankruptcy was a spectacle that captured the nation's attention. Claire, once the poised leader of an oil company, was left grappling with the ruins of her professional and personal life. She became a pariah in the industry, her name synonymous with one of the most dramatic corporate collapses in recent history. As the empire he had once been heir to crumbled, Ethan watched from the shadows, a bittersweet satisfaction settling in his heart. He had reclaimed his name and exacted his revenge, but at a great cost. The world he knew was changed forever, and he was left to wander the ruins, a ghost of his former self, haunted by the memories of what had been and what might have been. In the end, Ethan Valmont disappeared. He left Dallas behind, seeking solace in anonymity and the hope of starting anew. Dallas moved on, its skyline ever reaching towards the heavens, oblivious to the man who had once sought to right the wrongs done to him in its shadow. But for those who knew the truth, Ethan's legacy was not one of triumph, but a cautionary tale of the thin line between righting wrongs and becoming the very thing he sought to destroy. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you liked this video, please support it and this channel by giving this video a thumbs up. Also, please hit that subscribe button, and remember, enjoy the journey. See you next time.